This episode is brought to you by Temptations Cat Treats. Your cat will come running for the perfectly irresistible Temptations Creamy Puree and Temptations Lickable Spoon Cat Treats. The best time to feed lickable cat treats to your cat is anytime. Feed by hand for a playful moment, in a bowl for a creamy treat, or as a topper to make mealtime fun. Visit temptationstreats.com to learn more.
Hilton brings you new ways to stay, with experiences that let you capture the glory days. Introducing the Graduate Hotels. Each inspired by local college towns, these stays are always original and never boring. Get in touch with traditions all across the country and enjoy a stay that's a class above the rest. Book at Graduate Hotels with Hilton Honors Points at Hilton.com. It's a win-win. Hilton, for the stay.
And welcome back to my podcast, Esme's Country Life. In today's episode, I'm going to be telling you about a very exciting new animal that we've added to the family. We've got a new pet. I'm also going to be telling you why I stuck 200 plastic flies to my face, and also all about how I got humbled by a fence. But before we begin, I just want to say a huge thank you to the sponsor of the podcast, Redpost. Redpost is an equestrian and country store based in the UK, but they also ship all over the world. And the exciting news is that I'm going to be coming back to Redpost for a meet and greet this summer. So keep your eyes peeled on their socials, Redpost Equestrian, and also mine as well. We're going to mirror it, so don't worry. We're going to be shouting about it, but go and follow Redpost, because very soon we're going to be telling you all about it, when it will be. So if you're thinking, oh, this summer might be a good time to, go to Devon on a little holiday, then make sure you do it when I go to Redpost, because they have an incredible store there. If you do get to see it in real life, they have, oh my gosh, the cafe there, incredible. Milkshakes, cakes, ice cream. What more could you want? So anyway, yes, very exciting. Soon there will be a meet and greet with Redpost. But anyway, go and check them out online at redpostequestrian.co.uk. Anyway, let's get into today's podcast episode, because I'm not gonna be that podcaster that's like, no, you're gonna have to wait till the end of the episode to find out the exciting news, because the exciting news, I know that you're gonna be like, Esme, I didn't know you were getting a new animal. I didn't know you were getting a new pet. I know for a little while I have been kind of teasing that I will be getting a dog, which I will be hopefully this year. That is the plan, if all goes well. There might be a new horse added to the herd at some stage, but this is not a horse or a dog. You might be thinking, okay, well, what animal is it then, Esme? That's so rogue and random. And it is a new member to our flock of chickens, but it is not a chicken. It is a cockerel. Or a rooster for my Americans out there. And his name, we have decided to call him Johan. And Johan has a bit of a backstory, because you're like, Esme, this is so random. Why have you suddenly decided to get a cockerel? So my boyfriend Batman, his family have a farm, and they have a lot of chickens, a lot of geese, and also a lot of cockerels. I think at the moment they had 4 cockerels, and we've now taken one, because yeah, I mean, there's been a few times where I stayed around his house and I've woken up in the morning, and the cockerels, they can be quite noisy, but I think the reason why they're so noisy is because they have quite a few of them. They do this thing where they're trying to outcompete each other. So basically, in the morning, at about 5 a.m, they all decide, oh, let's play a game of bogeys. I don't know if people know about the game bogeys. Basically, in my childhood, there was a game called Bogeys. I'm pretty sure it was from like a CBBC show, Dick and Dom in the Bungalow. People who are my age will know exactly what I'm talking about. Everyone else will be like, Esme, what are you on about? But there was this game that they played on this kids' TV show, and it was called Bogeys, where they would go to random places in public and would basically do a game of who can shout bogeys the loudest. So they would go to like the big fancy library in London or art galleries or things like that, and they would just be shouting bogeys. And you know what? That is what the cockerels are basically doing first thing in the morning, but instead of shouting bogeys, they're shouting cock-a-doodle-doo. So we did have a choice of which cockerel we wanted. Batman's family very kindly, they were like, yep, take your pick, just take one away, because at the moment they're playing bogeys with cock-a-doodle-doo, and it's a little bit loud in the morning. But I feel like it's one of those things that you just kind of get used to. Like, obviously we have all like the horse kind of noises back when I used to live with my mum and dad, and I was kind of used to that. So I mean, not that the horses are noisy. I mean, Toby he's noisy. Toby, our donkey, when he knows that you're awake, he will let you know. So we were like, yes, a cockerel doing their little cockle-doodle-oo in the morning, that will be a little bit noisy. But for me, I was like, this is great, because I live down the road. So the cockerel will not be waking me up at 5 a.m. And my brother was like, well, I guess, like my brother, like he doesn't really like stay at my mum and dad's very often because he's moved out. He's got his apartment far away. So he, like, apart from when he's like home for Christmas or Easter or holidays or that kind of thing, then it's not really going to be bothering him. And he's also one of those people that could sleep through an earthquake, a hurricane, anything. Like, he could sleep through whatever. So he's a very deep sleeper. So he's fine. And then my grandparents, we actually kind of kept it secret from them because we basically made Johan the cockerel a birthday present for my granddad because it was his birthday recently. So we just kept it secret from them until we kind of the day of Johan's arrival. But also my granddad's he's got hearing aids. So I don't think the cockerel has been affecting them either because their hearing isn't very great. So there's that. And then my mum and dad were like, oh, okay, so we're basically going to be the only people disrupted by Johan. And I was like, yeah. And my dad was like, well, that's fine, because I wake up at 5 a.m. every morning anyway. My dad is definitely an early bird. So it's basically just my mum. And I was like, oh no, my mum's probably going to be the most upset about having Johan join our family. When actually, she has been the most excited. She absolutely loves Johan. Every day she's talking about him. Every day she's given us an update. It's been the most exciting thing. It's been more of a present for her, to be honest, than my granddad. So anyway, me and Batman, we came up with this plan of Johan. And obviously, we had a little double check with everyone, apart from my grandparents, about if Johan should join the family. And we're like, yeah, you know what? This is going to work. This is going to work. So.
Llévate más de lo que esperas todos los días con el nuevo McValue en McDonald's. Ahora puedes comprar uno y sumarle otro por $1. Así que cuando tu equipo favorito enfrente a sus rivales, enfrenta tus antojos con $5 Meal Deals. Y si estás corriendo para alcanzar el desayuno, corre a la para llevarte ofertas antes del cut-off. Tú decides, y con McValue, tu decisión siempre rinde más. Precios y participación pueden variar. BOGO $1 válido para un producto de igual o menor valor. Debe estar registrado en Rewards para ofertas en el app.
Sergeant and Mr. Smith, you're gonna love this house.
Bunk beds in a closet?
There's no field manual for finding the right home. But when you do, USAA Homeowners Insurance can help protect it the right way. Restrictions apply.
The day came, and my mum did give my grandparents a little bit of a clue. She said, We've got a birthday present for my granddad. It's arriving. And my granddad was like, wait a minute. By the way that my mum was kind of describing this thing, she was like, you've got to be polite because it's from Batman. And I know that at first you might be a little shocked. And if you don't like it, we can return the gift. And my granddad was like, what on earth is this birthday present that I'm getting? And he was like, is it alive? And my mum, who's the worst at keeping secrets, was like, I cannot confirm nor deny. So I think my grandparents knew that something was up, that there was going to be something arriving to the farm that was alive. So anyway, the day came, and Batman very kindly came and dropped off Johan, and we let him into the area with all the ladies. And we weren't sure what it was going to be like, because Johan, I think he's only like a year old. I'm pretty sure when I first met Batman, Johan was only a little chick, a little baby. So he's never really been anywhere else apart from Batman's family's, place. So we were like, okay, he's honestly going to probably think he's been abducted by aliens, taken in this vehicle to somewhere he's never been before. And to be fair, I do live far enough away from Batman that we were like, I don't think, Johan's not a homing pigeon. He's not just going to start trying to walk back home to where he was from. And to be fair, he has arrived in paradise because he is now the king cockerel or king rooster, because he's the only guy in town. He's got all his lovely ladies with him, and, he is the king. And, I was going to say he's fallen on his feathers. That's not the right, no, he's fallen on his feet. Chickens do have feet. I'm used to the horses with hooves. Anyway, at first though, oh my goodness, I was such a proud mum, because my chickens, I've come to the conclusion that my chickens, they are girl bosses. Because I tell you what, when Johan first arrived, all of my chickens who were, there were egg production chickens as well. So when we first got them, they were so scrawny and skinny and little and had a little barely any feathers. They're big, strong girls now. And all three of them, actually, yeah, we did very sadly lose Mars a few weeks back. So she was my chicken that I got for my 18th birthday, and well, along with some other chickens. But unfortunately, she very sadly has passed away. So we're down to 3 of our egg production hens, our ginger girls. We call them the ginger girls, and Johan. So anyway, these 3 girls, they came up to Johan and they were like, "What are you doing on my turf?" And just, I don't know what. I've got a few clips on my phone that I managed to record, but honestly, I wasn't expecting this. It was like a chicken scrap. My girls, they were going for him. And this poor guy, he's had a car journey here. He's somewhere he's never been before. And then he has these ladies come and attack him. Like, my girls, they were going for him. Anyway, there was about 5 minutes of sorting out the pecking order. And then actually they were like, you know what? This guy, he's okay. We'll keep him. You know what? You can be our man. So anyway, it was quite cute though, because my mum, she's been giving me lots of Johan updates, because when she works from home, she works on her laptop in the corner of the house that we call the chicken window, because the chicken window first occurred just before lockdown, because I had my 18th birthday the summer before lockdown. And my brother, when he was doing his A-level exams at the time, so he was in his last 2 years of school, because he's 2 years younger than me, basically the school said when you're doing work from home or online work that they really wanted all of the kids to have a workspace that wasn't in their bedroom. So basically the whole living room, we were like, okay, this is now Max's classroom. This is where he can do all of his A-level work. So we brought his desk down, had it in the living room, and where the desk is, it faces the window where all the chickens are. So he said it was quite nice because he would, do his physics work or whatever he was doing, and he would just look out at the chickens every now and again, which I thought was very lovely. And now my mum has now claimed said chicken window for the days where she's working at home on her laptop, and it's honestly, she loves the chickens. I think she loves them maybe more than me. Like, she is obsessed, that girl. Anyway, so when Johan came along, it has honestly been the highlight of her day, because she'll be doing her work and then have a little look and see where he is, what he's doing. And yeah, the family group chat the other day, she was like, Johan is such a sweetie. Do you know what he's been doing? He's been digging up the ground, finding worms, but then he doesn't eat the worms. He does his little cock-a-doodle-oo, and then all the ladies come over, and then they eat the worm. And he's like, look, ladies, I have found you a worm. So anyway, that has been very cute, but very funny. Oh my gosh, I haven't told you about Johan's first sleepover here, or his first night here, because there was a little bit of stress, a little bit of, oh, okay. I mean, my mum was very stressed. Batman was like, the guy will be fine. Because, as I said before, Batman's family, they have a lot of chickens, and some of the cockerels, they sleep in trees, because I mean, his family have dogs and everything, so they don't really have any foxes where they are, so they're quite lucky with that. And they also had the geese, and I feel like geese, they are not, I don't know if vicious is the right, yeah, no, geese are a bit vicious. His geese are lovely, don't get me wrong. Batman, you have some lovely geese, but I wouldn't, if I was a fox, I would not want to mess with a goose. And they have a lot of geese as well, so, I mean, a whole gaggle of geese versus a fox, I think the geese are on the winning side. So, anyway, so they're cockerels. Some of them, they like to, go and sleep in the hen coop. But some of them like to sleep in a tree. And obviously, Johan is more of a tree kind of guy, because we came home and it got to the time where I was like, okay, it's chicken bedtime now. Time to put them in their coop. And they do have like a proper tall fence as well. It's a chicken designed fence. And Johan, he's like, all right, ladies, night night. I'm gonna leave you now. So we were like, oh my gosh, where is Johan? He was just gone at bedtime, and we were like, oh my gosh, Johan, he's such a player. He's like gone and said hi to all these ladies, and then as soon as night falls, he's gone. he's off. We're like, Johan, you've really disappointed us. We didn't think you were like that. We thought you were not like, the other cockerels. Anyway, so we were like, where has Johan gone? And my mum was getting a bit stressed because she was like, oh my gosh, what if he's like wandered off? And Batman was like, no, he wouldn't have wandered off because he has everything he wants here. He's got his ladies, he's got his food. Like, what more could a cockerel want? He's probably just gone to sleep in a tree. So anyway, the next morning, I got this message at about 5 a.m. from my dad, who was very kindly giving the horses their breakfast for me. And apparently he spent like the whole morning when he first got up, like looking around, like, oh, was he in the solar panels? Oh, was he in the orchard? Oh, was he with Toby? Like looking everywhere. And then as he went round to the horses, Johan was up in a tree, and he was very high up in the tree as well. Like this guy, he has climbed. He was at the top of this very tall tree, so no fox was getting him. But yeah, so he had a little sleep in a tree that night. And then my dad said he just heard this cock-a-doodle-oo and obviously walked near Johan, and that's how he spotted him. Because tell you what, I mean, Johan is a black cockerel, so he is a little bit hidden in the shadows at 5 a.m. apparently. So I just got this video of Johan cock-a-doodle-ooing right up a tree, and I was like, well, it's good to see that he's had a good first night at the farm. Since then, he has gone to bed in the coop with his ladies, so all is well. And yeah, that is my Johan update for you all. I feel like now, instead of just everyone being like, we want an Allan update, we want a Batman update, I feel like now it's going to be, we want a Johan update. So anyway, Johan is doing well. He, every now and again, because he is obviously a bit bigger than the ladies, he can also fly pretty well. He flies over the fence, and he sometimes gets a little not distressed, but he's like, girls, I found a worm here, or I found a bug, come and eat it. And obviously our ginger ladies, they can't fly over the fence, they're in a chicken-proof fence, and then you have to let him back in, and he gets a bit confused. So he's still figuring out that, but apart from that, he's doing very well. I literally just heard him cock-a-doodle-oo then, but we have very good microphones on the Esme's Country Life podcast, so you would not be able to hear that. You can just hear my sweet chatterings. That sounded really creepy. Anyway, moving on. While we're on Allan update, I thought I would give you an Allan update, because so many of you in the comments of my last podcast like, what's happened to Allan? We need an Allan update. So today's podcast episode is actually going out, I think, on the week where I've just come back from America. So I've got my little US trip. Literally tomorrow I fly out. So I'm making sure that I get the podcast done, because podcast is priority. Do not want to let you guys down. But my mum has bought an outfit for Allan. Now, if you're not a regular listener and you're like, who is Allan? What is this girl talking about? She's just been going on about her new cockerel, and now she's talking about some geezer called Allan. Now, Allan is a creepy wooden sailor kind of bottle stop doll kind of thing. It's about the size of my hand, and we found him at a boot fair kind of secondhand vintage kind of shop, and he was really creepy, and my mum thought he was creepy, so we thought we'd buy him for my mum as her birthday present. Anyway, Allan's got a bit of a backstory, and for some reason it's now my family's favourite thing to hide him, because he is so creepy in other family members' rooms or bags or places, to give you a little jump scare. So anyway, my mum has gone online, and you know Elf on the Shelf? Well, she has found him some elf clothing, and he has a cowboy outfit, because she's like, well, Allan has to go to America with you. So he has a little cowboy hat, he has little, jeans and a shirt and everything, and boots. And Dad and I are like, American border control are not going to want to let Allan into the country. Like, I'm honestly a little bit scared. So I'm like, Allan is not going in my hand luggage. That is for sure. He is going in the hold. He is going in my suitcase. And if you are coming to see me in Kentucky, please do not ask where Allan is, because I will be leaving him at our hotel room. He cannot come to the Kentucky Horse Park. That is too much. No. Anyway, so my mum's like, come on, you've got to take it. So I don't even know if we're going to take him. I mean, she has bought him a whole outfit, so maybe we will. But a little Allan update. Allan actually went on a holiday with my mum and dad. So the whole time on their holiday, they were just snapping all these pics. The other weekend was Easter weekend, so I hope you all had a lovely Easter. We actually had a really nice Easter. Had like a big family gathering, and then had a nice evening with my grandparents. And anyway, on the Saturday, Easter Saturday, we went to our local town, sat in the little pub garden, had a lovely time. Do you know what my mum got out of her bag? Allan. So anyway, we did take a little family photo, all of us, with Allan sitting in a glass. So yeah, there we go. I am so glad that nobody spotted that, because I don't know, my hometown, even though it's not my hometown because I live in the middle of nowhere, but the town that I would say is my hometown, where I went to school and all that kind of stuff. Honestly, it's been the last couple of years, I'm actually surprised I have not seen anyone from my school. I feel like everybody's dispersed, or even like teachers, you would always walk through that town and at least see one teacher from school. But I feel like everyone's moved, everyone's gone. And it's weird, because like before, I'd go to my hometown and be like, I'm going to bump into somebody. I'm going to, like, you just have to mentally prepare yourself sometimes. But no, haven't seen anyone in my hometown for years now. So anyway, I was glad that nobody spotted Allan. But anyway, let's move on to why I glued a lot of flies to my face. Now, my dad has had this idea for a little while. Every now and again, my dad comes up with some very wacky and weird, but sometimes wonderful ideas. And at first, when he told me this idea, I was like, I know that we're a bit weird of a family, but I don't know, this is a little bit too weird. So, normally when I'm, advertising for brands, so this is for Lemieux for their new fly rug, available at Red Post. Anyway, I'm sorry I had to be that person. We were like, okay, we normally do like a really pretty photo with me and Joey, or like a reel or something like that, where I'm being like, this is the new rug and this is the features, and we're like, what can we do that's different? I mean, I've been doing this for almost 10 years now, social media. We're like, what can we do that's different, that stands out? And my dad was like, let's glue flies to your face. And I was like, what do you mean we're going to be gluing flies to my face? So they were plastic ones. They were not real flies. Thank goodness. I sometimes get a little bit, overstimulated, a little bit of a sensory overload, especially like if I'm, I don't know, wearing something that's really uncomfortable, stuff like that. So the thought of gluing plastic flies to my face, I was like, okay, I'm going to have to really like mentally prepare myself for this. And I was going to do it in here in the office, where I have like my makeup station and all that kind of stuff, my dressing table. And we were like, no, this is not going to work. I literally had to stand so still while these plastic flies were glued onto me. And my dad was like, how are we going to glue the flies onto you? And I was like, body glue. My dad was like, what on earth is body glue? And it's because I like watching a lot of makeup kind of content creators, where they kind of glue on prosthetics or glue on like lots of different like cool things. Like, oh my gosh, special effect makeup artists are so talented, absolutely incredible. So I was like, we need that. So anyway, online we go, get ourselves some body glue and fake flies, which I'm not gonna lie, my accountant is gonna look through my business expenses and be like, why on earth have you bought 200 fake plastic flies and body glue? So that's going to be some fun explaining to my accountant. But anyway, moving on. So I had to literally stand like a statue. I felt like I was doing the mannequin challenge. I was literally standing there so still while all these flies were stuck onto me. So I had my dad and Batman very kindly helped me glue all these flies on. So I was just standing there like, oh my gosh, my face is so itchy. The glue is so gluey. Ooh, this is a lot. But we managed to get some real cool photos. So the ad was me with my face covered in flies being like, you wouldn't let yourself do this, so why do it to your horse? Get them a fly rug and fly mask today from Lemieux, but also Red Post Equestrian. Oh yeah. Anyway, so there we go. So that's what we did. And I tell you what, it was different. It was fun. A lot of people actually in the comments were like, this is my new fear unlocked. Or they thought that they were spiders at first, which, to be fair, these flies, these plastic flies, in real life, they actually have red eyes. So they do look like they're carrying like plague or something. And they were very like big and bloated as well. So they were nasty ones. Tell you what, it is fly season though. Horse flies, they're coming back. And it's like that audio. It's like, do not come to my town. I do not want the horseflies to be back. They are my arch nemesis. So anyway, happy fly season to all of my equestrians in the Northern Hemisphere. And lucky you to my Southern Hemisphere equestrians in Australia and New Zealand and all of that, because you are coming to the end of fly season. So Good for you. Anyway, no, we are going into summer, which is the lovely time to own horses, and it's nice and light and lovely. So there we go. But talking about going into spring and summer, we have been doing some spring cleaning. It's all posted, so go and watch it. If you haven't watched it, what are you doing with your life? Go to my YouTube channel, go and watch it. I did a full spring cleaning episode on my channel. And you might be thinking, Esme, how did you get humbled by a fence? Now, this actually happened a while back and was kind of part of the inspiration of, I was like, okay, my stables are falling apart. I should probably do a little bit of a spring cleaning, fixing everything up episode, just so I actually end up fixing this fence. So Joey and I were doing a little photo shoot. Dad was filming us, taking some photos, getting some cute pics, and a little method that is really good at getting Joey's ears forward, because Joey, he's a little, he easily gets distracted. There'll be something rustling in a hedge and he'll be like, ooh, what's this? And then, anyway, but he's normally very good at having his photo taken, but today we were like, okay, we're going to do the cap wiggling method. So my dad, he's a cap kind of guy. He always has a cap or a hat on. So sometimes it works so well, just a little wiggle of his cap, and Joey's like, ooh, he's literally like a child, like a baby, you know, when with like a rattle and a baby, or like, ooh, what's this? And Joey's like, ooh, a cap, so delicious. Anyway, so my dad was waggling this cap, and anyway, my dad obviously got too into the cap wiggling, and he ended up throwing it up, and it ended up going on the roof of the stables. And so anyway, after the photos, I was like, okay, I'll take one for the team. I will grab the cap, because it was only just, like, it was almost in the guttering, so it wasn't very far, and I thought, perfect, because it was near the kind of fence where normally I tie, like, the horses' haylage nets up and where I groom them and that kind of thing, so I thought, perfect. So this fence has 3 kind of railings, and it was the second railing up that I stood on, and because it wasn't that high, so I could reach it from the second railing, so anyway, stand up onto it. And I had one leg one side, one leg the other side of the top railing. What happened? It broke. It snapped beneath me. I was absolutely humbled, because obviously I thought this fence could take my weight. It did not. And my dad was like, I'm so glad that happened to you rather than me, because what happened? Bam. I don't know what word I can use, but my private parts, they went slam onto the top fence railing. So I wasn't just humbled because obviously my weight could not take the fence. I was also humbled because the fence punched me in my private areas. And oh my goodness, it was painful. And it was painful for me as a lady. So I can't imagine what it must have been like for my dad if he was the one that climbed up onto the fence. So I really took one for the team there. And I didn't even manage to reach the cap. I had to use method number 2, which involved getting a shavings fork and doing like a hooker duck, lifting up this cap and lifting it up and over, which I probably should have just done in the first place, but I was too lazy to walk around the corner and get the shavings fork. To be fair, there might have been a few of Joey's poo particles on said shavings fork that is now on my dad's cap, so I apologise. But you know what? I got it down, and he should be grateful. But as satisfying as it is, washing all the stables, actually I vacuumed or hoovered on the inside first, then I rinsed them, then I power washed them and pressure washed them and scrubbed them, and then I painted them. I also went to the garden centre and we have some beautiful new hanging baskets. There is one near Duke's stable that every summer I end up at least once hitting my head on. I have not hit my head on it yet, so maybe this is the summer where I've learned my lesson. But I'll tell you what's my favourite job, my new favourite yard horsey spring cleaning job. It is using the strimmer. I cannot tell you the power I feel when holding power tools. Oh my goodness. It is so much fun. I don't know why it's, in society, it's like a masculine seen job to use power tools. Why are they leaving all the fun to the men? Oh my goodness. Using the strimmer is my new favourite job. It is so much fun. So this is, if you're old enough, obviously, if you're younger, then please do not just go and grab your parents' strimmer and do some strimming. But if you're a girl in your 20s like me, this is your message. Learn how to use a strimmer because it is so much fun. Obviously, be safe out there. Wear the correct safety equipment. I don't want anybody injuring themselves because I've told you to go and use power tools. But if you can learn correctly and safely how to use power tools, oh my gosh, so much fun. So much fun. I mean, I have learned how to use a lot of power tools from renovating the cottage and the stables and all that kind of stuff. But strimming, oh, if you thought clipping was satisfying, strimming grass, oh my goodness, so much fun. So anyway, I've been doing a lot of that. Also, I feel like this is the only time that I can really talk about it because we've had, can I just say, we have had such a bad year for bluebells. For my country people out there, you will know, maybe it's just where we are. We've had maybe like a week of good bluebells and then they've gone. The bluebells, they've come out late this year. We have had almost like a COVID spring because not as in we've all been locked in and there's a very scary global pandemic, but in the way where the weather, it has been fantastic. It has been so dry. It has been so warm. We've had like a proper heat wave over here in the UK. All of the leaves have come out early on the trees because normally bluebells come out before the leaves on the trees because then they get all the sunshine before the canopy kind of appears. But this year, the bluebells have come out after the trees. The trees have come out so early that all the bluebells, they don't really have much sun. So there's been a few, our bluebell woods, they're looking great. Actually, very lucky. Our bluebell woods are obviously all right, but quite a few other bluebell woods I've been to on walks, they just haven't been hitting like they normally do. They're just not as blue. So anyway, I don't know if anybody else has noticed that or if it's just us, but actually, yeah, by the time this podcast episode goes out, the bluebells will definitely be over. They'll be gone. They only last a week and then boom. Sad. But I always think once the bluebells have been out, good weather is on the way. And then on that note, I'm going to finish off today's podcast episode there. Really hope you enjoyed hearing about Johannes, our new pet, or Johan. That's his posh name. That's his show name, Johannes, but we just call him Johan. So I hope you enjoyed hearing about Johan and him and his life and his ladies, and also me getting humbled. I'm sure there'll be more funny stories on my trip to America. So that will probably be next week's podcast episode, all about my adventures. I'll keep you updated if Allan comes along with us. I'm a little bit terrified. And I'll see you all next time. Also, thank you to Red Post for sponsoring the podcast. Go and check them out at redpostequestrian.co.uk. And I'll see you all next time. Bye!